Hello, everyone, and welcome back to round number 2 of this week's 5 versus 5 Battle for Asgard. Right now, we've got a Why So Cereal on the order side, and hey, Sexy, how are you today? On the Chaos side, excuse me, I'm joined by...
My name is Seleucus, trying out casting, but thank you so much for the opportunity. It's good to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to get in the second game. J-Mac was here for the first one, but I'm going to be replacing him now. And right now, just taking a look at these picks and bans. We've got Hubwa and Uller taken out by Why So Cereal. And we've got Cirquette taken out by Sexy. Where do you think this ban is going to go, this next ban?
I'd say this next ban might go for support. We might see the Sylvanas banned out. Again, it's a super effective god. We saw that last game, but we actually see the Freya. Again, that's a really good pick, too. She can do a lot, especially with Typhon's Fang being a very prominent item. She can really take advantage of that.
Yeah, so I would say these are pretty normal bans, especially coming from the ranked scene where you see a lot of these pub stompy gods played really frequently because, as we talked about before, Snowball is the way to win, I suppose. So when you get one of these gods online, it's going to be so difficult to get back from that.
Exactly, especially with that Sarkett and the Uller. The only ban I'm really a little unsure about is that Habwa. We did see that last game played very effectively, did a lot of damage, especially late game. But again, it's always kind of a mixed pick. Not sometimes does well, sometimes doesn't do so hot. Then we see Serial pick out that Athena, that Hu Yi. It's a really strong pick. And we see the Dodgy and Athena picked out by Sexy. What do you think about those picks?
I'm going to say I'm kind of surprised that Ho Yi is the first pick here. We typically see more towards the jungle pick, and ADC is not really one of those picks that you care about necessarily, because a lot of times these ADCs are going to be really even, but the Geb and the Robin are the selections for Team Serial, and Team Sexy picks up the Thoth, my personal favorite.
Again, that Thoth is a really good pick. Saw that last game. Maybe not used as effectively as it could be, but with the ranged poke and lifesteal that's super common in this meta, he's going to do very well. I also really like the Geb and the Ravon coming out on Serial. Geb is pretty immune to those crits, especially you throw a Spectral Arm on him. They're not going to be doing nearly as much as they could be doing. And the Ravon's always a strong pick in the jungle.
Yeah, he did recently get a little bit nerfed, but he is still, like you said, strong pick. We see Giannis and Sol getting focused out there by Team Sexy. Probably wanted to get those mids off the board. Whereas Hachiman and Izanami, on the other hand, are getting banned by Team Serial.
Team Serial definitely looks like they're looking to try and stop that dual lane aggression, especially off of Hachiman and Izanami. Both those guys have really strong clear and would be able to push out that Hu Yi quite a bit. Starting to get to those crits a little bit faster and do a lot more damage.
We see the tier hover now for Why So Serial. I would say tier's going to be a pretty solid pick against Bellona. Although, arguably, Bellona, I would say, is probably the best solo laner in this meta, just considering how well she works with that Hunter's Blessing and just her general effectiveness throughout the entire game. But do you think that tier is going to be, a good rival?
Honestly, Tier can do very well. The Fearless can take out that bludgeon, stopping some of her clear. He also has a lot of sustain, which is going to allow him to play a little bit safer. So even if he gets pushed on her tower, he can still clear most of the wave, stay sustained up, and stay in lane maybe a little bit longer than that Bellona could.
Where do you think this last pick is going to go?
I would say for Serial, I could see maybe... That's really a tough one. It's going to be a mid laner for sure. The question is what mid laner, especially with the Yanis been out. We see the Scylla. That's an interesting pick. Her clear is weak early game, but her late game has always been one of the strongest, especially with that I'm a monster being able to almost literally pentakill an entire team.
Yeah, and we do see that Scylla locked in, and right now the pick has been switched from Tier to Nike. And I personally think that Nike's kind of underrated in this meta. You don't see a lot of people play her, but her global presence with that passive is pretty strong. But the switch right now between multiple warriors to the Cucullin lock-in is going to be the final selection. Meanwhile, on her for the other side of Team Sexy.
I really like that Cucullin pick. Very strong in Season 4 and still really strong in Season 5. Has built-in anti-heal in his kit off that Barbed Spear, which is going to allow him to maybe not build anti-heal as early as some of these other gods will. And he's also able to play very aggressively which is going to allow him to keep up with that Bologna.
Yeah, I gotta say though, these two team comps have gotten a lot of really strong picks. They both have really high amounts of CC and wombo combos on both sides. I mean, we've got the Kakalan ultimate into the Scylla ultimate, and then we've got circles from Geb and Hoi, whereas on the other side, you've got Athena Taunt and Taji ultimate. So both of those two together could set up easy combinations with Athathan on her ultimates.
Yeah, we could also really see the Geb ult with the Scylla ult. That'd be a very strong play. The root off the Geb ult and the hard CC is going to keep them as sitting targets, especially for that pentakill off the Scylla.
Yeah, but right now, I personally think that Team Sexy's got the stronger combination. I think that with the Thoth being able to outclear the Scylla, and we've got the Athena being able to rotate and maybe even start Assassin's Blessing or do something spicy like that, I think that they've got the stronger comp.
I'm actually going to have to go with you on that one. I think Team Sexy just has a little bit of stronger comp. The pentakill potential of the Scylla, especially late game, is going to be really strong, and that Geb is a super safe pick. I do really like Serial's draft, though. They have a lot of synchronization, a lot of good CC, especially from the Athena ult and the ult from Daji, but I just don't think it'll be enough to get through Team Sexy.
And we'll have to see how it goes. We're going to take a short break and then get back to you in a couple minutes with the game. Hello everyone and welcome back to this round number 2. Right now we've got Why So Cereal on the order side. And hey Sexy, how are you today? On the chaos side, I'm joined by Seleucus, right?
Seleucus,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, yes, cool. So talk to me a little bit about these starts. Is this pretty normal?
Yeah, I see a fairly normal start coming out from almost all the gods. I'm surprised I didn't see a second item picked up by the Geb, instead opting to go for some more potions in the Chalice of the Oracle. Maybe would like to see some boots, give him a little bit of mobility, just maybe something a little bit more, but I can see where he's coming from with that.
We're seeing a little bit of a gathering kind of around the order side's Harpies. We've got Glavis, Mikhail, and Umisser all together trying to catch someone on the rotation, maybe trying to invade the speed buff altogether.
It's a very interesting play. That's going to allow that Kakoan in the solo side to get ahead a little bit, but if they can get this speed buff, maybe get an early first blood, could work really well for them.
The blink is popped, and right now the speed buff has been secured by the order side. Panatrum is just going to return to the mid lane. Meanwhile, we've got Snuggle heading back there as well. Right now, the red team's kind of a little SOL, you might say. Not really getting anything off that invade, not even getting significant damage onto anyone but the enemy mid laner.
Yeah, really would have liked to see that to work out, for them to get maybe a kill and at least get that speed buff. They really didn't get either, though. So they kind of just went in, did nothing, maybe a little bit of poke damage, but that's not really going to matter, and lost a bit of farm, so it wasn't really worth it for them in the end.
They were able to steal away the Kakullen's blue buff, but it's Kakullen, he doesn't need mana. And right now in the mid lane, we see a little bit of aggression onto Umisser, but Snuggle still level 1, not able to follow up on the aggression that the Robin was helping for.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised she actually wasn't able to hit level 2 as quickly as Umisser did. Probably because he got a little bit of XP from that speed camp, giving him just a slight lead. But we see her hit level 2 finally, able to start helping with that Ravon's aggression a little bit.
Umisser opting to poke a little bit instead of fully clearing the wave, realizing he probably is not going to outclear anyway, and he's not going to be able to get either of those mid camps. Panatum is probably aware also that his back harpies were taken away, so he's totally fine with taking a little extra time in the mid lane to wait for them to come back up.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job trying to stay farmed up. Taking a little bit of farm from Snuggle, which might hurt him a little bit, but not enough to really matter, especially in this early game.
I mean, Umisser is behind, so it is working a little bit. Nice poke there into Glavis, taking about half his health from the Crush and Root. And right now, Snuggle's just gonna stay in the mid lane while she lets her jungler get those back harpies.
Yeah, that was a really strong poke. Again, we see Glavis kind of rotating around over here. He's going to try and look for an early kill on Snuggle, but Snuggle is able to use those dogs and get away fairly safe.
Yeah, unfortunately for Glavis, he was not able to land that boosted 1 ability, so he did not get that little bit of extra tick damage. Right now, Glavis trying to see if the speed is done, but over in the duo lane, we are seeing quite a bit of aggression out of Iceman and Yukana.
Yeah, they're going to have a little bit better clear compared to that Hui and that Geb. While the Geb is a little bit safer, the Athena's going to be able to aggress and really take full advantage of her clear.
But in the solo lane, we're seeing Heartless actually get his own blue buff. He had untransformed, unfortunately, but he did find success in stealing away his blue. Not able to secure it was the the Chaos team, even though it was a 2 versus 1.
Yeah, that was really smart play out of Heartless, taking full advantage of that Kakoan transformation. Even though he doesn't really need the blue, the XP and the gold will be nice. And we see actually a first blood coming out from that Ravon onto Glavis.
Yeah, right there, Glavis trying to do the buff, but was pretty low off the back of that invade. Ultimate popped by Heartless onto Mikhail, who does not have an ultimate of his own, but unfortunately the transformation comes a little bit too late, so Mikhail's just going to be able to sit under his tower and back. Although he does not choose to back, actually, knowing that his blue is going to be immediately taken away.
Yeah, it was actually a really beautiful play out of Ravon coming over the rotation. He saw exactly what's going on, and had that Kakoan transformation been a little bit faster, they definitely could have gotten that Bellona.
Unfortunately, by the red buff, there was a little bit of a miscommunication, it seems like, between Yukana and Umisser. They both wanted to go for that red buff, but Yukana just was not in position, so the thoughts got a little bit caught out.
Yeah, really, we saw Yukana. He was quite a bit farther back. Definitely seems like a little bit of miscommunication. I think they kind of both knew what was going on. They just weren't quite ready for it.
Right now we're seeing a little bit of differentiation in the mid laners build. Can we talk about that a little bit? Why do you see these two going this different pathway, one of them going for the Sorcerer's Staff and the other one for the Tiny Trinket?
Likely because the Scylla's going to be looking to build lifesteal a little bit earlier. I think Thoth isn't really looking to build that lifesteal early on. He's thinking more, let me give myself some health, some sustain. But we see Captain Max coming in, trying to do a little bit of damage, but it wasn't really a lot. Again, that Geb's not going to do a lot of damage in this early game.
Glavis is making the rotation over to the solo side, trying to see if Heartless is going to step up, but right now, at full health, I'm not sure how much a rotation's gonna do, especially when he's able to dodge the bludgeon that well.
Yeah, we see Heartless transform again, going in on that Bologna. He was able to dodge those tremors. We see the ult come out from Dodgy, hitting 2 chains, but the CC immunity out of Heartless' ult helps to keep him alive.
Right now, Paintum coming from the jungle, trying to get some damage onto Glavis, and both of the enemies are pretty low here, but they're going to be able to secure their own blue buff, it seems. The rotation just a little bit late, but Glavis is so low. The ultimate from Paintum comes through, secures the blue and the kill onto the Dodgy.
Yep, and we see him continue to aggress on Miko, and we see him get that kill very early. Both ults were burned, so they aren't going to have those up for a little while, but very smart play, continuing to aggress, realizing that Glavis hadn't yet backed. They took full advantage of that mistake.
Right now, it's even going to be even more advantageous for Panetum since he was successfully able to steal away Glavis' speed buff. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, Paneton is really taking advantage of this warrior jungle. All the CC coming out of that Ravan to really get some of those early kills, get a decent lead, and just continue to stomp down Glavis further and further.
Yeah, there's not been a whole lot of action over on the Duohan side, but on the solo side, it's been quite the party. We've seen all of the kills pretty much focused on that side, aside from the one kind of miscommunication from the Thoth. But right now, what does the Chaos team have to do to really bring it back into their favor?
That's really a tough question. I would say that maybe play a little less aggressive, make sure communication is on point. I think that'd be the biggest thing, is communicate. They need to know what's going on. It seems like every time they fight, because they're just not on the same page compared to that Order side. I mean, we see Pantomime and Kakolin doing very well together, communicating, using really well-timed ults, and we just didn't see the same thing come out of that Chaos side.
Yeah, especially in that duo lane fight that just went down. Although it wasn't much of a fight if you ask me. A lot of ultimates wasted, it seems. The on-her ult was already off topic, but right now we've got Dodgy going in, using that ultimate to try and pull someone, but only pulls the Gep, who just immunes it away. Yukana is in a bad position right now, but Netherroid is a little bit lower. It seems like everyone's going to be able to get out okay, except it's not going to be that way. A nice knock up there from the Captain Max, and Yumister falls down, and even on the backhand side, we saw Yukana get taken out as well.
Yeah, again, that Ravan, with all that CC he has, and now such a decent lead, he's going to be able to chase down pretty much everyone else he wants. As we see him putting a decent amount of damage into Glavis, and not able to steal away that red buff, but nonetheless able to put in a little bit of damage and keep him off of that.
Yeah, especially in that last fight, it's right now looking a little bit scary for Team Sexy, especially since Team Serial right now is 6-0, featuring a 2,000 gold lead, and the Robin right now is going for that speed buff one more time, knowing that this Dodgy hasn't been there, but she is going to jump in and try and secure her buff, and she does get it, but she's not going to be able to catch the enemy right now. It's all going to be up to whether or not rotations come from the Thoth and Athena.
Actually, we see her doing quite a bit of damage to this Ravan. You miss her coming in, trying to finish off that kill. That was definitely, had you miss her not come in, she could have fallen for sure. Damage mitigation off that Ravan all would have kept him alive a lot more than she would have been able to deal damage.
But right now on the duo side, we see Iceman going ham, trying to use everything he can to take on Netherroid, but the better shot there from Yumister is going to be able to do a nice return kill. The Sentinel has already been used from Snuggle, but Yumister is trying everything to try and get that Scylla kill, but not enough. Even the Athena ult was not enough to get that last hit onto the Scylla.
Yumister doing a great job in those past 2 fights, kind of playing cleanup. He's watching where his team is, realizing when enemies are low and using his ranged poke to stay safe. As you can see, he only took about half damage while still being able to deal a lot of damage and kind of clean up some of those kills that maybe would have been missed before.
And right now we see the Dodgy trying to find any farm possible in the enemy's jungle, but none really there. They're doing a pretty good job at cleaning out their jungle, and that's going to be really important, especially since Glavis is 2 levels behind.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but with how well that Order side is doing cleaning up their jungle, Glavis is going to have a lot of trouble finding farm. I would recommend, in his situation, to maybe sit in lane, mid lane a little bit, try and clean up a little bit of farm, even get just a little bit closer to that Ravon, because if not, she's going to continue to fall behind, and it's just going to become even harder and harder for her to catch up.
But Dodgy's one of those guys that doesn't have a horrible time in the mid game being slightly behind. She does have a very strong ultimate, and her team fighting potential is pretty strong.
Yeah, she is able to chase down those squishies quite a bit. Now again, we see the taunt coming in on Parlton, but he's got enough of that sustain to stay alive. All coming out from Dodgy, but gets able to immune himself.
Snuggle, unfortunately,
so really
a little bit late there in that fight, unable to hit the ultimate on anyone, but Yuka Yukane is kind of stuck on the wrong side, trying to save you. Miss her from getting doped by Heartless and taking a lot of tower damage is the Kukulkan, but Ged there with the meta is going to be able to save him, but on the other side of the fight, Glavis still getting caught out by Panatum.
Yeah, Panatum's really taking advantage of his level lead to bully Glavis out as much as he can. We saw that not only in the jungle, but how much damage he's been putting into him in every fight.
It looks like the Order side wants to start up this Gold Fury, but on the other side is Iceman, and he does have his ultimate if the cat's ready. He's going to leap, and going in right now with the Athena ult. Unfortunately, they do not get the Gold Fury. The ultimate from Athena was slightly too early there, because she teleported in on the left-hand side instead of actually on the Gold Fury, where Iceman did leap.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay by Iceman. I could see where he's coming from, trying to use the leap and the ult to steal that Gold Fury, but I don't think he realized that the Huyi had his ultimate up and was ready to secure. And not only that, but it also ended up finishing off Iceman, so they got both the kill and the secure on the Gold Fury with just one ultimate.
An unfortunate situation for Team Serial. Actually, I'm sorry. No, not for Team Serial. Sorry, Team Sexy. I'm mixing them up here. I apologize. But they're quite far behind in several aspects of their game, so it's going to have to come down, like you said, to whether or not this Dodgy can catch up.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to really have to do her best to try and farm as much as possible. Again, I would recommend her stay in lane just a little bit, try and catch up at least a little bit. But one thing I did just see in that was the blink out of the Thought. That's quite an interesting relic pickup. Just because I see where he's coming from with the safety, but he could be using that for like a purification piece or something a little bit more useful, I think.
Ultimate spent by both the Dodgy and the Kukulkan on the right-hand side. Diving in is Glavis, but taking too many tower shots is the Dodgy as well. One tick left and minions are going to do it. Heartless is pretty low, but is Mikhail going to be the finish? It seems like no. The meditation's been popped, but on the other side of the fight, you miss her. Able to solo Snuggle. Meanwhile, the rotation is good from the Order side. The ADC is on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Iceman nowhere to be found. He's trying to invade buffs, but you miss her. Unfortunately, gonna fall there near the enemy Oracle. Not Oracle, Backheart Beast. Kind of a miscommunication once again. I'm not entirely sure what the call was from the Chaos side, but that certainly wasn't the appropriate one.
Yeah, I could see where they were coming from. You know, especially soloing Snuggle. I think he was probably trying to rotate over to that right side, caught Snuggle in the jungle, and was like, well, might as well. Took care of that. But getting caught out by 2 players with, again, on her just pushing that left lane, which although he gets the tower, they're going to take the tower mid, so it wasn't really worth him just staying there. He should have really gone over and helped at least a little bit.
Right now we do see Netoroid get stuck between 2 different people. The Athena ult being spent onto the right side, trying to help Mikhail confirm the kill on a Heartless, which he does. The beat spent there by Panatum trying to get away. Yuka's charging up that dash, still chasing after. The tower is there, but he is so low, and Mikhail is going to finish it with the bludgeon. Not the bludgeon, excuse me, the Scourge.
Again, really good Athena taunt, helping to finish off Heartless. which allowed them to focus on that Ravan. That's going to help that Dodgy kind of catch up a little bit, because when he's not farming, she's able to. But we did see that ult come out from the Dodgy kind of wasted, so that was something I wasn't really a big fan of. Really should not have used that.
On the right-hand side, though, Iceman did get soloed by Netaroid. That nice little double bounce, but we do see Glavis kind of hanging behind here, trying to see if he can catch any farm once more in the enemy jungle. He's not really following your recommendation of trying to stay with someone and sit with someone and split this farm, and that's kind of making him pay. He is sitting pretty far behind, but another thing to consider is his item choice. It seems that the Raven has gone for the Crusher first. Meanwhile, we've got a Jotun on the other side. What's the difference here, and why does it matter?
Well, the Ravan's really looking to get some early pen that Jotuns isn't going to give him as much, and the Ravan's likely trying to get a little bit more attack speed. Ravan is a slow ability-based god. A lot of his abilities have long cooldowns, so he has to kind of rely on hitting him with abilities and then kind of bursting him down a little bit with basic attacks, which it seems like is kind of what he's going for in this build.
We also notice that there's a little bit more rotation out of Mikhail than it is out of Heartless, but I think he's totally okay with that. He's going to be able to farm up that right-hand side. Meanwhile, Mikhail is still going to be lagging behind, even though this blue buff is up. The big rotation, though, from the Chaos side is going to be good, and Heartless is totally unaware. It dodges the stun, though, with the nice jump, but the ultimate comes out just in time to give himself just enough space. But a nice taunt there from Yuka, but the transformation is even better. He's going to be stuck between 3 players, trying to do as much damage as possible, but Yumitra takes him down, and Panatum picks up Glavis. The nice rotation back. Unfortunately, no ultimate there, hit by Snuggle, but still trying to pick up somebody. The nice crush there. Also, Yumitra falling down.
We see Mikhail trying to taste Phantom, trying to maybe clean up, make this a 2 for 2, but just wasn't really enough. That Ravan's gonna be a little bit too fast, at least I thought. We see the bludgeon coming out from Mikhail, trying to finish off that Ravan. Taunt coming out from Athena, but the Geb shield keeps him alive, and we see Yukanami fall to Snuggle again.
That was a great Geb shield, but on the left-hand side, we've got a little bit more of a Hunter fight. If you can see Netaroid's health right now, he has none. But Iceman, oh, he's looking to go in on the offensive. The triple bounce was almost good. He did get the stun off, but one auto sooner was Iceman able to take that audio cue and run with it.
Yeah, that was beautiful play by Iceman. He really knew what who he was going for. He was ready for it and caught him off guard. We see Iceman starting to try and do that Gold Fury, but he's on pretty low health, so unless Yumitra is able to tank this, they might not be able to take this.
Yeah, that was pretty close on the behalf of Iceman, having to expend his Aegis for that Gold Fury. That might be pretty important coming in this next fight. The Geb is here, though, looking to try and do something to take away this Gold Fury. Right now, tanking it is Yumitra, and he's gonna fall down. So the nice blink from the Raven Panatum is taking a lot of damage there. The nice taunt there from Yukana is able to help Glavis secure it. But right now, the Captain Max stuck between the Athena ult and the Bellona. He does not have anything to really get away with other than his rollout. Unfortunately, Glavis did not get on the right side to take away that rollout. But on the right hand side, though, we do see Heartless pushing down that tier 2 tower.
Again, we see him going for that blue buff. You know, they're going to be watching this. As we can see, Bellona rolls in, trying to steal that back from him. Did not believe she got it, but he's just continuing to push. He doesn't really care about the rotations as much as that Bellona does. He's just trying to keep up the pressure on that right side soul lane and get a little bit ahead.
Speaking of pressure, Pyromancer taken down right there. That's going to give the blue team that much more ability to rotate out of base. If they need to go back to base and hurry to an objective, they're going to be able to. And they also, notably, are dominating Ward Vision. They've got 5 Ward Chalices. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we only see Team Hey Sexy have 1. What is with all these Chalices? Are wards really that strong?
Especially in Season 5 compared to Season 4, the map's quite a bit different. Back in Season 4, you could see quite a bit of the map without wards, so you didn't need nearly as many. With how the map has changed now, there's so many choke points that require wards that it makes sense that all 5 players out of Serial have wards.
But these ward challenges don't give you sentry wards, they give you regular wards, right? So who's buying the sentries, or are sentries just not important anymore?
I think sentries are very important, but they're only really important for strong objectives. At least that's kind of what I'm seeing. You only really see them around that Fire Giant Gold Fury. Now we see the ult come out from Daiji. Again, Heartless trying to push, pretty aggressive using his tankiness. Trying to go on the Emitter. Not quite enough, but we see the Blink come out and the ult come out from Geb. Continuing, Heartless is trying to push on the Emitter, but the Athena ult's going to keep him protected.
Yeah, right now we see teams regrouping, trying to find a nice taunt. There is Yukana, does find it, but doesn't take any damage as Heartless. Unfortunately, there that Thought ult just not doing anything to level 17 Kukulkan. The Blink in there from Glavis is going to take down Netaroid. No poke found there by Snuggle. Nice ult there by Mikhail under that mid tower, trying to find damage onto Snuggle. Right now we also see Emitter trying to get even more poke on the enemy team. Well, this mid tower is being sieged by Team Sexy.
We see Team Sexy take that mid tower. Really a little bit of messy play coming out of Serial, allowing the Hui to get almost pretty much soloed. Again, we see Iceman take out Pantom as well. He's really starting to run away with the lead he's gotten. Stun coming out from Emitter onto Captain Max is going to allow that Bludgeon to finish him.
And somehow the Thought does not die, but Heartless is not done. He wants to keep going in, but Mikhail can tank for days. He is totally fine with just taking those tower shots and helping his teammate Iceman throw those spears onto the enemy spear wielder.
Yeah, this is where we're starting to see that Hui start to lose his lead that he had in the early game. We see Iceman, although he has died 3 times, starting to take advantage of his build, especially with the Deathbringer already online, and to try and do a lot of damage and solo that Hui as many times as he can.
Even though Hui does have that crit immunity, why do you think that Iceman is winning these trades? Is it because of his own passive, or do you think it's because of the Transcendence?
I'd likely say it's because of the Transcendence. The on-her passive is pretty good, and the CC can help with the fights. We see Heartless's ult burned. Glavis goes up in his ult, trying to stop Heartless. Heartless is going to get pulled in. No CC immunity on that ult. We see you miss her ult, and Heartless is going to go down here. 4-man rotation onto Heartless, and really nobody coming out from Serial. Seems like a bit of a miscommunication on Serial's part, not over there to help their teammate.
Glavis jumps in there onto that solo side, trying to get some damage on this hill, and the med was popped to try and keep the teammates healed up going into this fight. An aggressive dash there from Emitter, but the Hui ultimate is going to be popped. The stun is good, taking almost his entire health bar, and Netaroid does get the kill. Geb ult pops, trying to get onto Yukana, and Yukana also falls down.
That was definitely a little too aggressive play from Emitter. I see where he's coming from with that Warlock staff. It's going to allow him to have a little bit more health, take a little bit more damage, so he can play a little bit more aggressively with those stuns. But when you get ulted by both Ravan and Hui, there's only so much health is going to do for you, and it really didn't work out for him like he planned.
Right now we see Team Sexy trying to take this Gold Fury, but the rotation high from Team Serial is going to be good. The nice impale out of Iceman is going to keep the enemy Hui at bay, but Glavis needs to be careful here. He's somewhat out of position. He's trying to get some damage onto the enemy ADC, but Gold Fury, sitting at about half health, is getting taken down so quickly, being shredded by these crits. Glavis goes up into the air on the pillar, tries to get the pull onto whoever he can, and does get one chain onto Heartless. Maybe not the target you would want to pull. You just put the tank into the backline, and there's nobody there but Iceman.
We see Peyton in a 2v1 against that Athena and the Bologna. Netroid coming in to try and help. He's going to burst down that Athena pretty quick. Even with those block stacks she has, those crits are going to punch through once they hit.
Emitter right now getting chased down by Heartless. Meanwhile, Netaroid coming through pretty quickly, trying to jump on top of the Thought. The dash is good, and Yukana is right there to keep Heartless at bay.
Again, this is what that Warlock staff is really for. That Kukulkan and that Ravan aren't going to be able to do a ton of damage compared to the carries on Serial, meaning that if they do go on a Thought, he's a little bit safer in having that extra 600 health.
The dash is spent by the Thought right now, and Heartless knows that he's going to get up there in his space, and the Gold Fury right now, half health. Blink in from Panatum is going to be good, but the triple balance even better. Captain Max secures it with the knockup. Right now still chasing back onto Yukana, who's picked up the purple buff, but is getting slowed by the Hui ult. Netaroid picks up another one.
Now we just got to see a retreat coming out of Serial. They've pretty much got what they wanted. They're going to start to take a step back, maybe look to that Gold Fury again. But we see Bologna trying to stop them at all costs from being able to push back. She's level 20, so she's going to be a really strong and hard force to kill.
Yeah, right now, Mikhail just jumping on the enemy team. He's like gigantic right now in comparison to these two that he's seeing with the level 16 Scylla and the level 16 Geb. But right now Netaroid has made the return. Nice ultimate there from Mikhail. Glavis is here with the ultimate. Aegis expended already by Netaroid. He's gonna have to jump down, but Glavis hits the second shot and he goes down.
That was a really well-timed dodge. Again, we see this. We see a bat coming out of Serial while the Gold Fury is still looked at by Sexy. Again, Heartless, he's going to be pretty tanky. They're not going to be able to stop him, especially with Paratime coming in, taking out Yumisa. These warriors are going to really be able to just kind of do whatever they want. Ult coming out from Geb. He's being chased down by Glavis, but we see the ult coming out from Heartless, helping to keep him alive a little bit longer. Geb's going to get out.
Or not. Oh, but the blink just in time is going to be good. And right now, Glavis getting crushed, is trying to stay alive. But the ultimate out of the Scylla is going to be good. She is a monster, and she's going to chase down Mikhail. The nice dash to get out of that range. But a great ultimate there to pick up one. Oh, but the Gold Fury has been taking down Iceman on the backhand side, able to do it all by himself.
That was a really smart play from the Anhur. They knew better than to commit, and instead just let him solo the Gold Fury, while the rest of Serial was distracted. Again, we see Mikhail bullying Snuggle. With that build he has going on, he's got the full Stone of Gaia and the Pestilence. He's got quite a bit of magical protection and health. A lot of these guys aren't going to be able to do really anything to Mikhail.
Yeah, especially when it comes to getting those stacks on his Urchin. He's already got 4, and that's about where he needs to be at this point in time. So I'd say I'd be pretty happy if I was him. Blink in from Yukana. Good Geb shield from Captain Max, but the Portal Demon, not Portal Demon anymore, Pyromancer goes down, and Panatum's trying to run away. Nice ultimate from Yumisa, trying to get those last few shots onto Panatum, who unfortunately has the speed buff, so is going to be just as fast as Yumisa. Nice crush there from Snuggle, but the ultimate is going to be just enough to take down Yumisa. Panatum, 1 health, but Mikhail cannot get that last hit. So unfortunate. Panatum's going to be able to get away, but meanwhile, Mikhail in the middle of 4. He's got his team on his back, but is taking so much damage from the crush. Up in the sky goes Glavis, pulling. How many? Let's see, 1. We've got 1 chain. Captain Max, he's going to be pulled in, but nobody's going to be there to follow up.
Yeah, Mikhail, again, he's able to take that damage, but that's still starting to catch up in level. She's going to start doing a lot of damage. Late game is where she really starts to strive. So she's going to really take advantage of that, especially with that Obsidian Shard and the Bangcross talent. She's going to be able to do a lot of damage. We're starting to see Captain Max and that Huyi start up the Fire Giant, but we see both Glavis and Anhur waiting in the wings, so they're going to try and back off of this for the time being.
Glavis is pretty low here. Unfortunately, the root does miss, but committing in is Panatum. Great impale by Iceman. Takes quite a big poke there from the crush, but no, he not able to jump in there and finish him off. Snuggle trying to do that AoE damage that Scylla is so good at doing.
Again, we see a good retreat by Serial. They kind of noticed that this wasn't really their fight. They're just going to kind of hang out by that Fire Giant, wait it out, and hopefully try and catch someone out of position, give them the advantage.
I mean, Thoughts just put himself out of position there. He spent the dash to try and get a stun into Snuggle. Unfortunately misses the ultimate, but is juking his life for his life. Nice knockup there with the Geb. A couple more crits, and that'll be it for Netaroid. Unfortunately, he cannot hit the ultimate, and Glavis is able to jump there on the backline to take down Snuggle. Meanwhile, Panatum takes out Yumisa, and Yukana is so low right now. He's got to find some help, but Iceman's just going to the middle lane trying to help the rest of his team. So Yukana does fall down. Great Geb ult to interrupt the Dodgy. But right now, still diving is the enemy team.
We see the continuation of the fight. Ultimate coming out of Panatime and Heartless, but it wasn't enough. Glavis taking out Panatime, but falling to Captain Max. Again, we see Heartless chasing after. We see an Iceman. Aegis come out of Iceman, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to fall here.
Oh, that impale was so good. He's still so low, but he was able to get that little bit of life steal. Great ultimate from Mikhail to peel away the enemy. Iceman's going to be able to pillar Captain Max and leave him on the other side. Meanwhile, Mikhail zoning away too. Right now, Iceman's trying to find any lifesteal he can, and back up to almost full health is able to jump over that wall back to safety.
Really great play by Mikhail and Iceman, both in trying to keep off that Geb and that Kakolin, but also to make sure that even if one was trying to keep off the other, neither of them made died. So both made it out alive. Iceman actually already back to full health off that lifesteal. Shows really just how strong lifesteal is in this meta, especially with that double life, with that Aussie at that low health.
And right now we do see both teams trying to back and regroup. The Fire Giant's going to be the next one here. Both teams have really good secure coming out of their mages. So what do you think this next fight is going to come down to? How do you think this is going to go down? Who's going to go in first?
I would say I'm probably going to see Mikhail go in first. He's been really aggressive in this game. Actually, we see the blink come out of that Athena. Taunt onto Geb. Decent poke from You Miss Her, but it wasn't enough. Only taking him about a quarter of health low.
Yeah, I would say probably not the best idea to jump on top of that Geb. Not really the one that you want to be targeting with the blink. But the blink from You Miss Her, unfortunately, also misses the stun. He doesn't only miss her, but that's not what's going on right now. We've got Heartless jumping onto Mikhail. Mikhail is getting actually so low, taking a lot of damage from both ultimates. You Miss Her with the nice ultimate on the Netoroid, taking down the ADC really early in this fight. But Iceman on the right-hand side is having a bit of trouble, but You Miss Her is making Snuggle have even more trouble than that.
Again, we see You Miss Her taking advantage of that range poke he has, putting it down on Pantheon right now. Pantheon's ult comes down, but it wasn't really worth it. Again, being cleaned up. Now we're going to start to see this team group up for that Fire Giant. Again, using a ranged poke from both Iceman and You Miss Her to really burst down this Fire Giant pretty safely and give themselves a decent advantage now.
And that's going to be the Fire Giant. Glavis and Yuka Ikano trying to jump onto the Geb. And meanwhile, both of the enemy team members that were left alive before that Fire Giant have fallen down. So that tier 2 tower on that right-hand side is going to be pretty free.
Yeah, this is showing just exactly how good that Thoth is. Especially with that health, he's super safe right now. He can stay plenty far back, do plenty of damage with that poke. He's also going to help this team burst down that Phoenix fairly quickly if he's actually over there. But he's very safe right now, going to do a ton of damage from very safe distances. And we saw him get a double kill and help to secure that Fire Giant.
Right now, the dash in from You Miss Her is trying to catch anyone who's got their guard down, but the blink in from the Athena is able to get Snuggle off guard. And although Iceman does fall down there, 2 Netoroids poke. Right now, Mikhail's trying to get everyone under the Phoenix in some crowd control, so he does hit that ultimate, and eventually someone does fall down, but Panitum is trying his best to get away from the 2 tanks. A great blink in from Captain Max, but he's going to be stuck between 4 members now, but the Kakulin and the Geb are up. They might try to look for the Glavis, but unfortunately Glavis is not even going to be anywhere close. Heartless taking so much poke there from the Soth, especially Athena ulting, trying to secure that kill onto the Kakulin, but not going to be enough.
Now we're going to start to see a retreat from Team Sexy. Again, that was a really smart play. We saw just exactly what that Thoth could do. Even with the Honor Her down, he was able to burst down that Phoenix fairly quickly, giving themselves a nice advantage, especially not having to fight under that Phoenix. And he was able to do quite a bit of damage to even Geb and Kakulin.
Alright, so talk to me. What is left there for Team Serial to do? What can Serial do to bring this back, if they can bring it back at all?
I think the biggest thing is they need to stop focusing Mikhail. They've done a pretty decent job trying to focus on those squishy targets, but I think they really need to focus You Miss Her. They really need to focus Iceman, and they really need to focus Glavius, because those are the people doing a lot of damage. But I think the hardest part of that is going up against that Athena and that Bellona. They're going to be able to keep that front line pushed up, allowing their carries to kind of sit behind and do that damage.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 3 members of Team Sexy with Blink. There's not a whole lot that you can do or respond to about Blink unless you have your beads and Aegis up. But with all the characters on Team Sexy, it's hard to have beads and Aegis when you've got so much CC.
Yeah, we see 3 Blinks coming out of Team Sexy. The one other thought, to be honest, has probably been the most effective. Being able to blink in, stun, and do all that damage so quickly has given them a huge advantage.
And I'm sure that's not something you see every day, especially on a Thok, but it certainly has had that factor of surprise come through, and that's been pretty successful. Right there, the blink is popped. Unfortunately, the stun does miss, but they're getting plenty of damage onto the Geb. Ult is popped, they get about half health, but the nice meditation there is going to be pretty good. Right now we see Snuggle up in the ultimate taking a lot of shots there, but not hitting anyone. On the backline, Yukana is able to take out Netaroid, and Glavis goes in, but Mikhail on the backline is able to get that last hit onto Snuggle, and Iceman on the front line takes out Heartless, who's trying his best to keep them away from the Phoenix, but that is going to be that. And right now, you miss her diving onto Panitum. Wants to bring this Titan over and finish the game. Titan 50%, 40-30, and it's going down right now, but they're not focusing it. They're focusing Panitum, and you miss her. Gets him down. 10%, 5%. Captain Max with a nice return kill onto you miss her. But that's going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Team Sexy takes it 28-28, but a very different story when you look at the gold.
Yeah, again, I thought that last team fight, they took the advice that I just gave to Hart, went in, tried to push those carries, but the problem was they let their own carries get pushed. And once they were eliminated, it was easy for the front line of Team Sexy to come back and then finish off the tanks from Serial and close out that game pretty cleanly.
Gotta say, though, you miss her. I mean, what a great performance there on the Thok, giving out 40,000 damage, even though his scoreline was negative. He was certainly doing the damage that he needed to be doing. On the other side, Snuggle was doing quite a bit of good damage towards the earlier side of the game, but unfortunately did not hit those key pentakill ultimates that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. We see the Thoth. It isn't much more damage, only 6,000 more compared to Snuggle. But it wasn't so much the damage he was putting out as much as it was how aggressive he could play. Again, that Warlock staff and the Blink being used to great effect by that Thoth. He was able to go in, stun people, allow Iceman to do some of that damage and, finish them off while also being fairly safe because of that Warlock staff.
Yeah, so right now we are going to congratulate Sexy. They're moving on to the next round, but that's going to be it for us for right now. So we'll see you guys in the next round. Hello everyone and welcome to the semifinals for this week's 5 versus 5 Battle for Asgard. I'm joined by Seleucus, and right now we've got HalfNet Esports on the Order side versus Landslide on the Chaos side.
See, the first band coming out of HalfNet, that Habois, again, and the Freya coming out from Landslide, again, those mages are being heavily prioritized. This has been a very mage-heavy meta, especially with lifesteal and pen being super powerful on mages, so it's not surprising that we see them prioritized early.
Yeah, I think we've seen kind of a standard sort of 4 or 5 different first bands kind of taken away. We see Hubwa and Freya like we've gotten here. Ardino is another one thrown in there. And I'm going to say that this one's going to be the Serket, but what else would you really want to see here?
I could see maybe an Izanami or a Thoth. Izanami is one of the strongest hunters in the game, and with how strong hunters are right now, especially building crits, to let her slide or give a team her, she could run rampant in that dual lane.
Yeah, so right now we're still waiting on that last first ban from Team Landslide, looking to take their time here, really trying to decide whether or not they're going to give up the Serket or the Uller. I think those are going to be the two contested bans right now. But like you said, Izanami very strong in this meta. She's got that free clear, right? And her ultimate's also really good for securing things, but it is going to be the Uller there. What do you think this first pick is going to be then, the Serket?
I could see the Serket, again, maybe that Izanami could come out, or a Thoth. Thoth has been really hotly contested. He has some of the best ranged poke in the game right now. But just as you said, we see that Serket come out. Really strong jungle clear out of that Serket. And with her ability to rotate on this new map, she can just control the camps very easily.
Cucullin going to be the hover there for the side of the Landslide, and it's going to be locked in. And so is the Athena. Pretty quick on the draw there for the team of Landslide. They've already got that little bit of a strategy under their belt. They know how they're going to deal with this Serket, and that's just going to be by holding her down with that nice taunt or the knockup from the Cucullin.
This is the third time we've seen this Athena. We've actually seen this Athena come in all 3 games. She's a very prioritized support pick right behind that Sylvanas. Again, we see the Tier come out, which is actually a little bit surprising, but the Thoth coming out doesn't really surprise me at all. Again, ranged poke. His ranged poke is top tier right now.
Yeah, I've got to say, coming from her one trick herself, when you pick Thoth, you've just got so much range, so much self-peel. It's almost like you're your own front line. You've got a personal bodyguard right next to you, and that's going to be your wall. When you dash through that wall, you get that little bit of extra range on all of your abilities, and not to mention you go farther with your dash. So you've got all that space that you can put between yourself and the enemy team, and that's just going to make that pick so much safer. But Mercury, another top jungler getting picked up there. Why do you think that Mercury is so good right now?
Really, it's because of how strong crits are in the game right now. Crits building crits is one of the strongest ways to build, not only for hunters, but especially for Mercury. Being able to proc those crits on his one, gonna give him huge damage. And besides that, he's also one of the fastest gods in the game. Even though he might not have ability rotation like Serket does, he's gonna be able to keep up with Serket around that jungle and not let her just run around and steal those buffs as she pleases.
Yeah, right now we do see the Yeb banned away on the side of Landslide, and the Agni taken out by Team HalfNet. Why do we see this Agni ban when he's been considered so bad for the past couple of seasons?
My best guess would be likely because the Agni does have some really strong poke on his ult. It's not quite able to contest with Thoth, but it is pretty good. He also has a lot of CC off of that oil spill, which is going to give him a little bit of safety. He's able to dash through that, CC anyone that's chasing him, or even just throw it out and then hit it with the wave to CC anyone that might be chasing one of his teammates.
We also see Ganesh and Giannis banned away for both teams respectively, but now we're going to be waiting on the selection here from the side of HalfNet, if I'm correct. I'm totally mixed up here on which side's which, since we do have the little bit of a switch, on the sides here. But like I was saying, what's going to be next year? You think we're going to see a mid lane or ADC? What's left to do?
I mean, at this point, I would likely see a mid lane come out. could also be an ADC. I mean, at this point, they only have so many choices for mid lane, and we know that Halfnet's not going to be picking that mid laner because they already have the Thoth. So I would actually probably see an ADC come out. They might try and prioritize that pick, but we actually see the Poseidon come out and the Ymir come out on Halfnet.
That snap like Ymir pick, kind of surprising considering how little we really see of this Frost Giant in the meta right now, but you would think that Ymir would be really strong right now considering his wall can stay up for so long and completely block off one side of the enemy jungle, but, you know, against gods that have such high CC like this Poseidon, Cucullin, and Athena, he kind of struggles, he gets stuck, one might say.
Well, I do see where they're coming from with this pick. Maybe not so much to block off that jungle path, but really what his goal is going to be is to stop some of the aggression coming out of that Mercury and that Athena and that Cucullin with the freeze.
Rama is going to be the selection here to finish off this Halfnet esports roster. Meanwhile, we're still waiting on the ADC for Team Landslide, and they've got quite a lot to pick from. They've still got the top tiers like Ho Yi, Hachiman, and all those sorts of things, but they might go for something sneaky here, like maybe even an Artemis or, you know, an Izanami like we talked about before.
I would definitely like to see the Izanami picked up by this team. It's just going to give them even better clear in the dual lane along with that Athena. A lot of them play pretty aggressively. She's also super safe. Her dash and the invisibility afterwards makes her really safe, especially from those Rama snipes that could be coming out.
Yeah, the only problem I'm seeing there with the Izanami is that she's going to get jumped on by the Serket pretty easily, especially if she does have that selection of getting like a balance or something. But the choice there is Neath, and Neath not really seen that much at all in this current meta, or really even in most recent memory. The only one I can really think of even picking it up is Emilito over on the EU side of things. But what does she bring to the table, do you think?
Well, really, what she has is fairly decent clear. She's always been one of those gods that could play pretty well in the mid lane as well, also play in that duo lane. She's got good sustain off of that, off of her 2, and fairly safe clear. She also has the jump, which, although not the best escape, is better than nothing, really, and the global ultimate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they were trying to go for some global initiation there between the Mercury, Athena, and Neath. They've got quite a bit that can just pick you off and pretty much put you down right away. But I'm going to say, just taking a look at these two comps, I'm kind of stuck here, you know? On the one side, Halfnet's got the Thoth and the Serket, which are two of the most high-tier gods that you can get right now in Smite game. But I'm just really fond of the CC and global pick ability that Team Landslide has, so I'm going to give it to Team Landslide.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give it to Team Halfnet. I really like that tier pickup, to be honest. A lot of good CC, especially with the Fearless. And I also really love the Serket and the Thoth pickup. They're going to have a lot of really aggressive clear. And as long as they play smart with it, they should have no trouble taking this game.
So the casters are split here, but there's only going to be able to be one winner in this semifinal. So we'll catch you in game in a couple minutes. Hello everyone and welcome back to the semifinals of this week's 5 vs 5 Battle for Asgard. And right now we are seeing Team Halfnet Esports versus Team Landslide. And I'm joined here by I keep forgetting how to pronounce your name. I don't know if it's
Lucas.
Okay, there's a Lucas there. Remember the Lucas. I got this. Alright. So, right now we are seeing both teams line up there at their starts, but strangely enough, it's actually going to be a Ymir jungle and not a Ymir support. That's weird.
So does that mean that this is a Sarkhet support? Because if so, that's a very interesting pickup. Now, it could also be where the Ymir isn't the jungle, but he's helping to clear this a little bit. Now we see quite a bit of damage going on to that Thought from the Mercury. They might be able to steal this speed camp. Mercury doing, again, poking quite a bit.
Both Bayron and Sober Joe are pretty low here, but Josh, Goggles, and X-Jake Darkhor are sitting there together by the speed buff, kind of doing nothing. But on the left-hand side, their Sarkhet has already taken away the red buff from the red team. Yeah,
this is actually a really smart start. If that Sarkhet is the support, even if not, her ability to clear that jungle so quickly allowed them to strip away those buffs and be able to get out of there fairly safe.
Yeah, that's just something that you see quite a lot in ranked. Being in the ranked scene quite a lot recently, I suppose, it's been pretty predominant to me that people really like to start this sort of invade where the support starts with this and then goes and does the enemy's red buff. And right now, it seems like the red team's gonna notice, hey, we don't have a red buff anymore, so let's just do these oracles and get this done with.
Yeah, it definitely seems to work out pretty well for them. Now both red buff and that purple buff are secured on that order side. So they stripped away quite a bit of that jungle farm. Again, that's what that Sarkhet's really all about. She can strip away so much farm very easily with her fast rotations and great jungle clear.
And just double jungling in general is really strong, but the nice collapse there into Sober Joe forces out the beads. Unfortunately, the Mercury is going to be there, so not able to collapse onto their enemy is Team Halfnet, but getting good poke and those beads really early is going to be highly beneficial, especially when they're running such high CC on their team comp.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good play by Sober Joe, though. He used those beats fairly well timed, and the Whirlpool stopped that Sarkhet from being able to advance and finish him off, which was really smart play.
Sarkhet, though, has been able to take away pretty much all of Landslide's upper left-hand jungle, so they're missing out on quite a bit of farm, unfortunately. Liquid Joe is trying to make sure that nobody's going to be there to take away their red buff, but is going to just take a stop by the middle lane to get some of that farm while his teammate is coming on back from base.
Yeah, again, just this Sarkhet over and over, you're going to see it over and over, especially in this early game. That ability to clear so quickly, especially with that Assassin's Blessing, it's going to be very hard to stop her from stealing pretty much whatever she wants. So they're definitely going to need to get some wards up early. We see the blink coming out of Sarkhet, though. Athena taunt, and the Whirlpool coming out of Poseidon trying to stop that Sarkhet, but she's able to jump away just barely.
The blink expended for the red buff. I'm going to call a word there. And right now, Athena and Poseidon kind of sad they didn't get that buff, but, they're just going to be happy to take back that mid-wave and to just keep on dealing with this stupid invade that they keep seeing. I mean, I shouldn't call it stupid. It is working right now. And it's just one of those strats, that you do in rank to just make your opponent angry. Like, come on, guys, why aren't we getting this buff over and over again? But right now, we do see Shia try and jump onto the enemy team, poking them out right now. And that Assassin's Blessing is going to come so in handy right now, as he's going to be able to heal himself back up because of the sustain on that Blessing.
Yeah, we did just see the beads come out of Thoth in that last fight against Mercury. Really smart. He did use that dash very early, but to very great effect. Able to stun out the Poseidon through the wall in the jungle. Poseidon even had no idea that stun was coming in. Again, this is what that Thoth is all about. Being able to use those walls, get that ranged poke, and just ruin enemy teams.
Charging up that ultimate there was Bayron, but not firing and knowing better than to throw his ultimate, his rank 1 ultimate, I should say, onto a tank, especially that early in the game. But he is getting pretty good poke there, and like you said, that's what Thoth is known for. He is able to poke them just because of that wall's range, that ability to throw such good damage from such a far distance is just what makes him such a powerful character in this meta.
Yeah, especially in Season 5, almost all of his abilities, except for the dash itself, can go through walls. So he can hide that walls in the jungle and be able to throw out damage like he did earlier without the enemy even knowing it's coming until it's too late.
Right now, Shia is hiding in the enemy jungle, trying to wait for that red buff to respawn, but Josh Goggles is here, having cleared out those oracles all by himself. Shia doesn't even notice until it's too late, but the blink, or not the blink, the beads, is popped from Josh Goggles, and so is the ultimate, but a couple more ticks on that ult will do it, and Shia is able to secure first blood on the Josh Goggles. This Serket support, not much of a support if you ask me.
No, she's really playing aggressive. And exactly as you said earlier, it's not so much to steal away too much farm, because they're not worth as much, but it's just to make that enemy team angry. You saw exactly what that did to him. They made a misplay. Josh Goggles wanted that red buff. He's like, all right, I'm going to get it this time, and lost his life for it.
I mean, right now, Sleep Tight has been able to farm up super hard. He's level 7 right now in comparison to the two people against him. He's got a level 6 Neith and a level 4 Athena, but neither of them able to contest his level lead there, especially when it comes down to boxing. You just can't outbox a ROM, especially as a Neith.
Yeah, this is the same thing we kind of saw back in Season 4. Allowing that ADC to solo farm, which is pretty much what Halfnet has been doing. It's going to allow him to get ahead, start getting those crits online very quickly. And with that Serket running through the jungle, they are going to start losing some farm very quickly if they don't try and stop this bleeding.
We haven't talked a whole lot about the solo lane, but I've just noticed that Tyr has picked up Mage's Blessing and not Warrior's Blessing. Why do you think that he would opt for that sort of different look on the blessings?
Tyr is really... Although he's fairly tanky, has a decent amount of sustain early, he doesn't really need that blessing and that Warrior's Blessing as much. But we did just see the ult come out from Kukulkan.
There on the left-hand side by Josh Goggles. Nubru did fire his ultimate out, and it's waiting for Sleep Tight to come back down, and Josh Goggles does finish off the kill. The blink in from Shia is there, but Shia is trying to make something out of this engagement. Nice taunt there. Great ultimate, but getting poked out so much is still in quite a bit of trouble. Oh, but the made to look was almost good enough, but unfortunately, Bayrun is not able to finish off that last tick of health on the Mercury. A 1-for-0 trade in the favor of Landslide.
Yeah, that was some really good play. I was really sad to see that Serket blink out come so late and so off the mark. Had she moved it just a little bit to the right, maybe, gotten a little bit closer, she could have actually, finished that Mercury off and made it a 1-for-1.
Blink in from X-Jarkor in the mid lane, able to make Liquid Joe go down, and right now great ultimate there from Bayrun, just putting a lot of poke on a Sober Joe, making sure that he's not going to be able to contest, especially since his Kraken was just used. Yeah,
it was a really well-timed Kraken. It just didn't do enough damage, especially in this early game, to that Ymir to make it that 1-for-1 trade that they wanted. So they did lose the Athena. But seeing Bayrun use that ultimate, although it did a decent amount of damage, I really would have liked to see him use it in that team fight over on the left side beforehand. Could have finished off that Mercury, made it a 1-for-1, rather than waste it in the mid lane.
I'm sure they're not too mad about it, though. They're sitting about 1,000, 2,000 gold up right now, so they're in a pretty good position, especially since the left-hand side has continued to get every single one of their buffs and is now starting to take control of these Oracle Harpies.
Yeah, again, they're just taking advantage of that Serket and allowing that Ram to solo farm, because he doesn't have to go clear the jungle buffs. Serket will do all those jungle buffs for him, not only getting herself the farm she needs, but also allowing Ram to get as much solo farm as he can, continue to get ahead, and continue to build towards those crits so he can destroy this Neith, really.
Ymir there taking a Neith ult to the face, but Sober Joe's getting jumped on by Shia, and great ultimate there from Josh Goggles, trying to get damage onto Shia to take her down. The Serket, that's what I meant, the Serket down. But, it was not really enough. Getting stuck in that whirlpool was just doing too much damage. Even in the Serket ultimate, you do take damage, so not a whole lot that you can do in regards to that.
I did like the rotation out of Sleep Tight. He was definitely looking for those snipes, maybe a second or two too slow, because that allowed that Mercury to get just out of range of those snipes. But I do think that it was really good play out of
but a
Poseidon.
great ultimate there. Great setup from Jarkor, able to set up that wall to make sure the Athena does not get away, and then that nice little freeze, just giving Bayron Lannister a really easy time to hit that final judgment.
Again, this is what we talked about with that Ymir. Not only is the freeze going to be able to stop a lot of aggression, it's also going to be able to set up a lot of damage for that Thoth, along with that wall being able to wall off entire parts of the jungle.
So we see this Ymir building Doom Orb, and that's an item that we only really can see Magicals build, but it's not what it used to be in Season 4. How has it changed, and why do we see this Ymir jungle picking it up?
The big thing with Doom Orb is now, instead of giving more power, it actually gives speed. It does still continue to give the power, but it gives movement speed as well. So that Ymir is going to do that to make his rotations a little bit faster. He doesn't have any movement abilities, so any movement speed items that he can get, he's going to take advantage of.
Right now we see the Ron farming up on this left-hand side. Level 11 is equal to both the solo laners, and is 2 levels ahead of his direct opponent. I'd say that this strategy right now of invading has been working out pretty strongly for the boys of Team Halfnet.
Yeah, I think they're doing a really good job trying to get a decent lead, keep a nice level lead. I think the thing that they need to do now is start to group up a little bit, start to look for some gold furies, and take advantage of the lead that they have.
Is there any way... Oh, hold that thought! Sleep Tight getting jumped on by Josh Goggles. 2 ultimates expended from both the Neath and the Mercury to try and force him out, but Shia is here just in time, dashing through, trying to find a target, but is not going to commit that ultimate onto anyone at this point. Just too tanky for the Serket. Even though she is 3 levels up on the enemy support, she cannot do enough damage to really catch anyone out, but now expending that ultimate onto Josh Goggles, and he's gonna go down.
We see Ymir freeze the Athena. Rama's arrow slowing her, but we see the sprint come out from Athena to get away from that situation. We see a stun come out from Thoth on the Neath, trying to use some of that poke that he has to burst her down, but it wasn't enough to sustain from Neath, keeping her alive a little bit longer.
Oh, but that nice poke there from Bayron is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to both Liquid Joe and Nubru. Sober Joe has made the rotation, but unfortunately not having as much effect as his direct opponent Bayron has. This Thoth is just able to get there so much faster. Even though Poseidon has that movement speed ability, he can't really keep up. Oh, unfortunately the blink there and the missed freeze, but Liquid is going to take just enough damage to fall down. Right now Jarkor just sitting there reveling in his little victory there. Nice little engage from the Ymir.
We see a fight starting to appear in the jungle with Shia bursting down the Poseidon, but it wasn't quite enough. Ymir falling to that Kraken. Now we got Shia being chased by Mercury. 2 for nothing over in that left side jungle. Mercury continuing the fight, trying to go on Sleep Tight along with Neath, and is able to finish both Sleep Tight and Shia.
I don't know if you saw that, but 5% crit chance, everyone. 5%! And that one auto attack was just enough to take down that Rom. And what an incredible 5% that was. You know, everyone's talking about how crit is super busted right now, and I've gotta say, RNGesus is not looking at over you right now, good sir. Unfortunately, that's going to be a pretty unfortunate trade on the side of Halfnet. So Landslide is getting back into this a little bit. They were pretty far behind, but that little bit of an engagement from Josh getting 3 kills there is going to turn it all around.
Now we see the Athena ult coming down onto Josh Goggles. They're going to try to aggress onto this very weak tier. Again, we see a fight towards the mid-Harpies, but Ymir is able to get out, not without having a double freeze onto both Kakolan and Athena.
Bayron was able to take out Josh Goggles, a really big target there, and Bayron's now trying to chase down Liquid Joe, dashing right into the Kraken, but the H is good, and the stun is even better. Liquid Joe goes down, and Bayron is not done yet, and neither is Jarkor, trying his best to chase down this Poseidon who has no health, but a nice wall there is able to zone out the auto attacks from Nubru.
We see that Kakolan and Poseidon trying to slow down that Ymir, take him out, but that Doom Orb, this is exactly what we're talking about. Along with that speed camp, that Doom Orb is going to allow him to get out of that fight fairly quickly. Now again, we see Thoth trying to aggress underneath. She's fairly weak. One ability, even one basic attack can finish her, but they just don't have enough. Actually, we see the Tiro come out. Smart though, And the Mercury ult keeps him stunned, so they can't finish off that Neith.
Such an unfortunate miss there from Cheetah, but on the other side, they were able to pick up the Gold Fury, and Byron's life for that, I would trade it for the world. Unfortunately though, Black Arm is going to be able to take down the solo tier 1 tower as well, so this trade, you know, it's about even, I'd say, you know, a life for the Gold Fury. Maybe not, I don't know. Kind of sitting in the middle here, but we do see Halfnet still sitting pretty, 3k gold up.
That was honestly a really beautiful Mercury ult coming out of Josh Goggles. Not only did it stun the tier, helping to protect his Neith from any Fearless or anything he tried to pull, but it also got him closer to Byron so he could finish off that kill. Really perfectly timed.
Yeah, Josh has been the hard carry for this team so far, having all 6 kills. He's the one that they need to protect right now. Level 15, 3 levels above either of the junglers, you could say. But, you know, Mercury is one of those characters that you just really have to be careful about how much farm you give him. He's going to do so much work in the late game, and right now, he's going to try and get another pick right now as Jarkor pops the ultimate, trying to get into position, but the Aegis is good for half a second there. The Cheetah is barely able to get out alive. He's living with barely an HP. The blink out is going to be good.
Now we see Shia trying to look for any return kills. She was looking at Sober Joe, but with the whole team grouped around Sober Joe, there was really nothing she could do. That was honestly really beautiful play coming out of Landslide. We see the blink in on Shia trying to steal that Pyromancer. Wasn't quite enough though. She's likely going to get bursted down, but the sprint barely saves her life, but it was not enough. Sober Joe getting that kill.
On the other side of the map, though, Sleep Titus and farming up a Storm, getting that tier 1 tower, and maybe even this tier 2 tower, depending on how hard they're going to commit on the Bayron, who is able to get the dash off, so he is okay right now. Although, I think they'd be pretty happy to die, but there is a full health Cheetah coming through, and is able to get the knockup onto Liquid Joe, still chasing down Sober Joe. The two Joes kind of in a bit of trouble there. Nice up-down there from Cheetah to try and get some damage onto either side, but not any kills going either way, but like I was talking about before, tier 2 tower on the left-hand side does fall down.
Yeah, they are playing a little smart having this Rama try and push down some of those towers. It's a good idea, help them get farther and farther ahead, but really they could use him in these team fights. As we just saw, that tier got caught out 4-1. I mean, had they been a little bit more grouped up, had some more abilities up, they likely could have killed him.
I mean, I think I'd be okay because, you know, Pyromancer right now, Pyromancer is not a portal demon. It's not going to give you that instant portal straight to fire and then they just funnel in and all do fire. It's going to have to take them a little more time to get into position to do this fire giant. So it's not going to be as, you know, snowbally where they can say, oh, but the ROM's on the left-hand side of the map, we can just do fire giant. We have portal. But no, this is season 5. You only have Pyromancer now.
Yeah, what I would like to see, I'm starting to look around on the map. We do see a stun, we do see a stun come out of Jarkor on the Black Arm, but not enough. Fearless on the Black Arm, trying to slow him down, turns into the guy, and we see the Athena ult coming out onto Jarkor. Everyone's on Jarkor. Jarkor's going down, and they're going to try to aggress onto this hopefully tier 2 tower in that right side.
Yeah, unfortunately there, Jarkor is the Ymir. He can't run away from everyone. That's why we talked about the Duum Orb and the Teleria boots. You know, he's just trying to get that CC to set up the rest of his team, but the rest of his team wasn't there. I mean, Cheetah's a tank for sure. Cheetah has some damage, but he's not going to do the same that an ADC or a Thoth would do in this situation. So getting caught out there, not really going to be helpful for anyone, but the Merc ult spent on the backhand side, getting bursted down by Shia, ult popped, and is now having to force out the Aegis.
We see Cheetah trying to chase down that Mercury. Rama snipes coming out. Didn't even see those go up. Beautiful snipes on that Mercury to finish the kill. Athena taunt onto Shia with that Kraken, going to burst him down, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. But we have the 3-man Fearless off of Cheetah, but we see the sprint popped by Landslide, able to get away from that fight, only losing Josh.
I mean, that's a big one to lose, though. If you're going to lose anyone, you don't want it to be your fed jungler. Unfortunately, though, they are still going to be able to group up and defend this middle tower. I'm sure that Halfnet would have loved to get more off of that fight, but I'm sure they'd take a 1-for-1 trade, especially when it's their support Serket for the jungler. That would be a pretty good trade in my book.
Yeah, definitely, especially with how far ahead that Mercury's starting to get. He's already got that full Deathbringer online, really able to just crush a lot of people. But we are watching Byron and Ymir go for that red buff, able to get it. Almost saw the ult come out from Byron, but decided against using it.
Gold Fury also goes down on behalf of Sleep Type, simply sitting there and soloing it. I mean, nobody even in range. The Athena ult had already been expended to travel to New Brew, and like we said, not any contest possible from the team of Landslide. They are still in this. They are by no means out. Even 6k behind, a Mercury can jump onto the enemy's backline and boom, 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 crit, and they're dead. So, you know, it's very possible that depending on the performance of Josh Goggles here, it could be flipped right that other way around.
Yeah, just going off that, especially with the Athena too, Mercury can ult and Athena can ult in after him, and they can just dive the backline, burst down, it maybe Sleep Tight or that Thoth, and just completely eliminate Halfnet from being able to finish certain characters in a team fight, missing either the Thoth ult or the Rom snipes.
So if you're Team Halfnet, what's your next goal here? What is the next big thing that you guys want to do?
If I was Team Halfnet, I would likely start trying to group run. Actually, we see the Sarkett blink in onto that Poseidon. Kraken comes out, but it isn't enough. Aegis coming out of Rama, and he's able to finish that kill. Ymir blocking off everyone from the jungle.
But with a double kill there from Sleep Type, able to just ground these carries to a crisp, and going up into the air is the Rum, trying to find the snipes. Bayron finishes him off instead, and the backflip has already been expended, but Sleep Type is still going ham onto Blackarm. The freeze and blink from Extra Core are good, and Sleep Type is on a rampage. He is pummeling down the mid lane, trying to pick off everyone possible, and oh my god, one more tick left! The Aegis was a little bit too late there from New Brew, so this middle tier 2 tower is gonna go down, and probably the Phoenix too while they're at it.
Yeah, this is exactly what happens when you let that ADC get fed like that. Sleep Tight is right now the only god in the game who's level 20, and we see exactly what that gets him. He was able to burst down almost everybody fairly easily, picking up, I believe, was it 3 kills in that last fight? I know at least 2.
I believe it was 3 kills, but right now, the Dia side there has opened up so much for this team of Halfnet. It looks like they're going to opt for the Pyromancer, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to go straight for the big boy himself, and it looks like they are, but they've got to be careful. Liquid Joe does have his ultimate, and so does Josh Goggles, so if they are not prepared and they're not ready with the secure, it may get stolen away.
Yeah, we continue to see them take that Fire Giant, able to get it away. We have both that Ymir and the tier helping to keep that jungle clear of any enemies that might try and push in to get that Fire Giant, so they're also able to take that Pyromancer. Again, we saw the Ymir walls blocking off a whole part of the jungle. It's exactly why they picked this god.
What an excellent, excellent team fight and wave that they spiraled that team fight from Halfnet. That's just exactly what you want to see out of a skilled team. You want to see them take little bit by little bit in the early game. Once it hits that 20-minute mark, they just go boom, 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 take this and this and this. So they went straight down that mid lane, took literally everything that was there. Before that fight, the tier 1 was still standing, and then they just got all 3 objectives and the Fire Giant. I would be pretty happy if I were them.
Yeah, they're actually exactly playing off that early game lead that they had. They started to lose it a little bit in the mid game, but it brought it right back, taking advantage of all the early farm that they gave that Rama to get so far ahead, so he can just continue to burst down targets like that Fire Giant and the 3 from the previous team fight.
And like we talked about when we were discussing the difference in ADCs here, Rom, you just can't outfox a Rom. He's got a steroid and a half, you could say. He's got that extra little bit of damage and that humongous attack speed steroid on his too. So he's going to be able to smack you with those crits more and more than any other ADC could probably do in the whole game.
Yeah, and going off that too, he also has that slow. That means even if once he does hit you too, especially if he builds Poison Star, which is actually exactly what he's doing, he's going to slow you so much he's going to get as many crits on you as he can.
Snipe. The snipe is good there from Sleep Tight, and ultimates are getting thrown out here by both teams. Athena just trying to get in the fight. Unfortunately, Cheetah there misses the blink, but the focus on the Bayron is almost good. Kraken on the wrong target there, but Cheetah is still diving forward, spending the ultimate to try and protect his stock, and a great finisher there from Bayron. Final Judgment makes the mark, takes down Sober Joe, and the Blackarm falls down as well.
We see Athena continue to try and keep this fight up just a little bit, protect herself, maybe try and make it back to base. But that Thought and Shia and that Sarkett are going to be able to chase him down, do quite a bit of damage, and as well, if he doesn't stay safe, be able to finish him off.
Right now, though, we see Sleep Tight and the rest of the gang going for the Titan, sitting at about 70-80% health, and Liquid Joe's trying to do whatever he can to keep them off. A great freeze, though, and another great knockup from Cheetah, and it looks like it's going to be it. Half-Net Esports are going to the finals of this week's Battle for Asgard.
Really beautiful play. Keeping that Athena back under that tier 2 tower to stop her from fighting under that Titan was really smart. And again, we've talked about this over and over throughout this game. Letting that Rama get so far ahead so we can start building those crits was really a mistake coming out of Landslide Esports.
But that was all off the back of Shia getting all of those early buffs. If it wasn't for Shia stealing away those buffs and getting farm, you know, Sleep Tight would have had to split those waves. And so it's just an excellent job by Half-Net to organize their strategy around getting that farm to both the, I guess, assassin support, you might say, and the ROM. Unfortunately, Landslide was not able to manage their buffs as much as they wanted to, so that cost them.
Yeah, that Sarkett did exactly what it needed to. Although late game we saw it wasn't as effective as it was in the early game, they didn't really need it for the late game. The early game is what they wanted it for. Able to steal away those buffs at almost every rotation very easily. And that's, again, exactly what Sarkett does with that movement speed. And with that good clear, she was able to just run rampant in the jungle, putting Neith and Athena so far behind.
I do have to give my amends to Josh Goggles, though. He really did try to keep his team in the game. He did, at the very beginning of the game, have all 6 of his team's kills, but, you know, he was not able to get another kill afterward. And he unfortunately took 6 deaths, but, you know, good try. You gave it the old college try, and you know what? You gotta get a little bit of attention for that, and I have to say, well done there. But, like we said, Half-Net Esports going straight to the finals. And we'll catch you there in a couple minutes. Hello everyone and welcome to the finals of this week's 5 vs 5 Battle for Asgard. Right now, we've got Xenon Hawk Fan Club on the order side, and our boys from the last game, HalfNet Esports, on the Chaos side. I'm here with Seleucus, and let's get started on these picks and bans.
Again, this is the second, I believe last game we saw these exact same bans. We see the Habois coming out along with the Freya. It's because of those mages, with how strong Pen is and how strong Lifesteal is. Both these mages use that super well.
The Serket taken out there. Perhaps they were watching that last game because Shia had an excellent performance on that Serket double jungle support type deal, whatever you want to call it. But Uller, the final ban away from HalfNet there. So what do you expect is going to be the first pick here?
I honestly suspect, I think the first pick will probably be the Thoth. Again, that's a god we've seen in almost every game so far. He's been highly contested and almost always done very well. So I would not be surprised if that was first picked.
But it is going to be the Artio. And we did see last game that she was banned away, which left the Serket open. But Artio, definitely one of the top supports, soul laners, whatever, wherever you want to put her.
Again, we see Concolin and Nemesis come out on the side of the HalfNet Esports. They went against that Concolin last game, did very well with it against it, and I think they want to pick it up this game. If it is against that Artio, it's a very good pickup. Artio uses a lot of sustain, and for Concolin to be able to have anti-heal built into his kit, he's a great counter to that Artio.
The Loki was hovered, and I thought it was going to be a troll, but no. Kaden locks it in, and I don't know if it's going to be in the soul lane or in the jungle, but we haven't seen this sort of cheese in finals for a long while. Scotty, the other selection here.
Loki would be a great pickup in the solo. He is super safe, clear with that decoy, which would allow him to not really have to brawl against that Concolin like other gods might have to. Now, the Scotty is a pick I'm definitely interested to see how that goes. She doesn't build crits as well as some of the other ADCs do. She definitely relies a little bit more on power pen, especially with Colder. So I'm interested to see how she's going to play against her opponent laner.
But I've got to ask you, do you think this Loki is viable in the jungle? Do you think you would see him maybe even as a jungler at this point?
That's really a tough one. He does have some decent clear, but I don't know if it's really as competitive as some of these other junglers might be. Now, he is fairly fast with the invisibility, but has no movement abilities besides that. So it definitely could go either way on this one.
Do you think we'd even see an Artio jungle? Because we've seen that in the past. We've seen people like Cherio play it before, and other people who are really fond of that Guardian jungle.
I definitely think we could see an Artio jungle. With this new meta, her clear is pretty decent. The jungle camps aren't nearly as hard to kill as they used to be, so a Guardian can play in the jungle a little bit faster with less worry about falling behind. So I definitely think we could see that Artio jungle.
Taking a look at the bans here, we see Agni and finally Thoth taken away by HalfNet, really recognizing that they do not want to play against this incredibly super long-range god with a ton of poke and a gigantic bursty ultimate. So, yay, we finally got rid of the annoying god, yay. But on the other side, we see Athena and Sylvanas taken out here.
Yeah, they were it definitely looks like HalfNet was looking to ban out some of those poke mages with the Agni and the Thoth. And then on the side of Xenohawk Fan Club, they were trying to ban out some of those support picks, especially Athena and Sylvanas. Now we see the Jingwei picked up on the side of HalfNet, one of the best gods to build crits on. And then we see Hades and Ganesha picked up on the side of actually not Ganesha, my bad. Ravan looks like going to be, never mind, Amaterasu picked up on the side of Xenohawk Fan Club.
What a strange comp we have here. Now, a lot of these gods really aren't seen that much anymore. Amaterasu, sure, maybe, but Loki and Hades, even Scotty to a lesser extent, is not seen as much as the gods that we're looking at on the other side of the map. And we're seeing a Camazotz hover here, which I imagine is for solo. I don't really think that Nemesis would perform as well in the solo lane. Or, wait, support? Who's support? Never mind, we have a Xingqian, that's gonna be support.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting pickup. I'm a little interested to see how this Amaterasu is going to perform in that solo lane. If she is in that solo lane, she might actually be the support pick. I have seen that done before, PBM, for example. But she does have really good sustain. Both Artio and Amaterasu have really good sustain, so they can stay a really long time in that solo lane.
It looks like they are switching back and forth right now, but I do believe that it will be going to the solo lane, that Amaterasu, I mean, and we are seeing that Artio support. I believe that everything is in order here. Everything is that should be. We're not seeing as much jank as I thought we were going to. But taking a look at these comps, I don't know. I appreciate the jank, but I'm going to stick with the All Faithful. I'm going to give Team HalfNet Esports the benefit of the doubt here if they can deal with whatever cheese that Xenon Hawk Fan Club is going to bring it out.
I'm going to go with Xenon Hawk Fan Club on this one. The Jing Wei is a great pickup, especially in this crit meta. And seeing HalfNet pick up that Loki, I'm a little worried to see how that's going to do. That's not a god we see very often, if at all, in the competitive scene. So I'm really interested to see if they'll be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, but that's going to be it from us from here in the pick and bans bit. So we'll see you in a couple minutes in the finals.
Life. Life.
I was fine when you pulled me down. You said the stars would answer. You said our prayers were written down. I was fine when you pulled me in. We were forced to be human, and then the world came after, and I had never questioned it. And they said it was wrong. Started it all.
Welcome everyone back to this week's finals for Smite Prime's 5 vs 5 Battle for Asgard. Right now we've got Xenon Hawk Fan Club on the Order side and HalfNet Esports on the Chaos side. I'm here with my boy. We're back at it again. So Lucas,
there you
let's go. I keep forgetting. I apologize.
It's okay.
But I will learn it. We're going to be best friends.
Yes, we will be. What I'm most interested to see is the start out of Loki and Scotty both starting with that Morning Star. That's a really interesting pickup. I'm interested to see where the Loki's going to take it. I definitely feel like the Scotty's going to take it into a Transcendence, but Loki, not sure.
Surprisingly enough, we're seeing the Xingqian over on the right-hand side proxy farming the wave. Xingqian solo is going to be the option here, and a Nemesis support or Devil Jungle, or, you know, whatever this nonsense is that they like to do. I'm not really sure what the decision here is to a certain extent, but we're seeing quite the mix-up here from HalfNet. They really like to play with their picks and throw it into whatever role they want, really.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to do... It seems like they're almost trying to do the same thing they did last game. Take advantage of that clear off of Shia on that jungle support. Allow him to start to steal some of those red buffs. But it seems like Xeno Hawk Fan Club did their homework a little bit. We see Fates trying to contest those Harpies, losing a little bit of mid-clear for it, though.
Yeah, right now Fates is trying to contest this red buff, but the Assassin's clear is going to be enough to get him level 2. He does secure the red buff, it seems. Actually, no, he did not secure the red buff, it seems. And Fates, now having expended his dash, is in quite a lot of trouble. One more auto will do it, and Byron Lannister with the first blood.
Again, this is a similar thing to what happened last game. We see J-Core taking out that Loki, but as I was saying, it's a similar thing. They're trying to take advantage of this jungle clear and kind of tilt the enemy team. Get them to come over, contest these buffs, and then get kills off of it.
And that's the way it's going to work with them. Once HalfNet get the enemy team off their game, off whatever strats they're normally used to seeing, they're able to easily take advantage of it.
Yeah, and again, we see him leaving Sleep Tight alone in that lane. Sleep Tight's going to take huge advantage of this, hopefully like he did with Rama last game, if that's, what they're going for. And especially on that Jing Wei, with that passive being able to get back to lane so quickly, even if he does get poked out, he'll be able to come right back and continue to solo farm.
I mean, that's all they could ever want, really, is to put Sleep Tight on a safe ADC that's going to be great in the late game. And Jing Wei, right now, like you were saying during the picks and bans, one of the best ADCs that you could have when it comes to crit.
Yeah, she takes huge advantage of those crits with the explosive bolts. And again, being so safe, they really don't have to worry about Sleep Tight. They can just let him farm, let him get ahead, and continue to let him steamroll the enemy team, hopefully.
And a little bit of poke back and forth between Spectre and Xia, but Xia's just going to be happy to go and return to his red buff, clearing it out as much as he can. Not really saving any of that experience for Bayron, but I'm sure Bayron doesn't care. He's got a kill under his belt, so pretty happy to be a soul if I were him.
It's interesting to see, though, we actually, this time around, see them trying to stop Xia from being able to get that farm like he did last game. Unlike Landslide, Xenohawk Fan Club is actually trying to stop that. Landslide really didn't, and Xia got pretty far ahead. As we can see now, Xia's struggling a little bit to do the same thing he did last game.
At the same time, though, to try and stop them, Spectre is giving up quite a lot of farm, and it's still sitting 2 levels down. That's not something you really want as an RDO. You want to get those levels online as soon as possible to be able to have that increased amount of stun and ability damage on those certain abilities. And right now, Jarkor going in deep to try and pick up Ifates again. He's able to secure it with a big boy ultimate, but right now Spectre is trying to catch up, do as much damage to the tanky dude as he can, but he's just gonna walk away.
Yeah, again, this is where that Hades pick is gonna start to hurt them a little bit. Actually, we see the ultimate coming out from that soul onto Spectre, taking him out of this game. That was a 2 for nothing.
Yeah, right now we see 0 for Xenohawk's fan club, but 4 for Halfnet. They're just running the scene. They run the early game, and right now the mid tower is actually gonna fall down at... Sorry, wait, it's 4 minutes. Why don't they have the mid tower? What is going on, Xenohawk fan club? You really need to step up your game here. I mean, it is a soul, and if you remember in the beginning of Season 4, Soul used to be able to push down those towers like nobody's business. She could take them down in 2 minutes flat, but even after the series of nerfs that Soul has seen in her lifetime, it's incredible to be seeing her pushing down this tower at 4 minutes.
And it's not just because of that soul, it's also because of that Hades pickup. He's not a very strong pickup, especially in this early game. Has to play pretty aggressive to get his clear. And Soul's just going to be able to use those stellar bursts to slow him down, and then the basic attacks to burst him down and keep him out of the fight almost completely.
I mean, we haven't talked about the soul lane yet, but Cheetah able to pick up a solo kill there onto Xenohawk. They're really running this game. It's actually pretty crazy to think that a support, I mean, not really a support, I guess a guardian, I should say, is able to solo a warrior, but neither of these gods in the solo lane are really known for their clear, I suppose. But both of them really trying to find the advantage in the other, and Cheetah coming out on top.
Yeah, Xingtian's taking advantage. Like Amaterasu, because of his passive, he has some really strong sustain, so he can brawl just as much as that Amaterasu can. But he also has a little bit more CC, especially with that up, down, and the ultimate.
On the left-hand side, we did see Xia make the rotation so that Sleep Tight could grab a kill and get farther and farther ahead. And right now, Sleep Tight invading that purple buff, trying to find some more farm on the map. He is out of mana, but Spectre isn't really going to touch him. He's got lifesteal and an almost full Hunter's Blessing. And another kill for Cheetah onto Xenohawk. Nothing Katie can really do here on this Loki. Like we talked about before, what is Loki going to be able to bring to these team fights?
I mean, that's the thing. Loki, his really big role is to push out those squishies, use his ult to dive on them, try and get one and get out. And the problem is they're really not giving him the opportunity to do that. As you can see, we have this kind of soul lane disparity with Xingtian just able to do a lot of damage and the Kakon able to help, but Loki not really able to do anything in return.
Yeah, it's so strange just watching all these gods be in these different roles, but they're still doing exactly the same as they would if they were the class that matched Right now we are seeing Shia make the rotation to the left lane to try and help out Sleep Tight. Diesel can't really run away. A great stun there from Spectre is going to try and save his ADC. Another ultimate comes out from Diesel, but it won't be enough. One more auto's going to do it, and the rotation from Bayron is going to secure the double kill there for Sleep Tight.
Yeah, this is exactly what they didn't want to happen. Sleep Tight just pulled off a double kill. It's just going to put him even farther and farther ahead. I mean, one level isn't a lot, but the gold from a double kill is going to allow him to start building those crits, start to burst down even farther. This is exactly what they didn't want to happen. That is happening.
And another solo kill for Cheetah on the Xing Chen solo. This is almost incredible to watch. I mean, these are not your average Smite players. These are, like, on Xenohawk's fan club. I mean, some of these people have been in the SPL. I know Caden has been on a top SCL team before. These are not your average Joe Schmoes. It's kind of incredible to be watching this team dismantle Xenohawk fan club the way that Halfnet Esports is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how tilting it must be to be soloed 3 times in a row by that same Xing Tian, and just to keep going back in and doing the same thing over again. I think Amaterasu needs to take a step back, but as we see that Kukulkan ult come out, Loki able to finish him off. They're able to get that Kukulkan, stayed a little bit too long for that blue buff maybe, but on the opposite side of the map, we have Shia taking care of Diesel along with Sleep Tight, allowing that Jingwei to just get further and further ahead.
I mean, right now we're seeing the Scotty sitting in an 0-3 slash line. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we got a 3-0-1 Jingwei. It's just going to get worse and worse in this duo lane. Like we said, Scotty does not have the type of scaling that Jingwei does, and this tower is going to start paying for it.
Yeah, I really think Xenohawk fan club needs to take a step back. They're playing as aggressive as they would be at where they even level, but they're starting to get farther and farther behind. And
well, that's not though. Spectre able to get that kill onto Bayron in the middle lane by blinking in. A nice commit there to try and take down someone on the enemy team, but the rotation is going to be good here. Shia pops the ultimate and is able to hit a couple more shots onto Spectre, but not enough damage yet. But another shot there, and the ultimate's going to do it. Sleep Tight. 4-0-1 right now on this Jingwei. They might be able to catch Diesel out of position if they're careful. And right now, Diesel does see them trying to go for the red buff, so he may try and stop them, but it's already done. Sleep Tight's level 11. What can a level 8 Scotty do to this gigantic Jingwei?
That's the problem. Really nothing at this point. This Jingwei is just going to continue to farm pretty much for free, continue to go up in level. Xenohawk Warriors, as I was saying earlier, really need to take a step back. They're playing way too aggressive for the levels they have, especially in that solo and the duo side, as we see, looking over, Cheetah almost soloing Xenohawk once again.
The sprint has been popped out by Xenohawk, trying his best to get away, but Cheetah does not want to give it up and soloed once more. Cheetah, also 4-0 on the Xing Chen. Surrender mode has started, but right now Caden trying to do his best to take down, pressing the ultimate onto Cheetah. One more hit's gonna do it, but Cheetah, this HP 5 is really doing work. I don't know if you can see, but his health bar is ticking up so fast. He just gained 100 health in that little bit of time. So he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that was a really good pickup of the Xing Tian, as we saw. I mean, how close was he to death that MP5 just saved him? He's got the sustain he needs to continue to brawl.
An excellent Kukulkan ult takes down 2 on the right-hand side of the map. Caden's trying to find Bayron to finish him off, but Bayron's going to be on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Loki's going to have to pop those beats to try and get away. One more hit's going to do it as Shia finds him, even though he's invisible.
Yeah, this game is really starting to get out of hand for Xenohawk fan club. I mean, 2-16. 2 kills on the Xenohawk fan club against the 16 kills Alpha Halfnet Esports. Halfnet Esports is taking the lead that they have, and they are running with it at this point. And the thing is, Xenohawk Warriors aren't doing a lot to try and stop them. And to be honest, there isn't a lot they can do.
I mean, to be fair, they don't really have the team comp for it, and they drafted into that themselves, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it rolls here in this kind of competitive environment. All these buffs getting stolen away, there's just no farm on the map for anyone on Xenohawk fan club, so they've got to just hunker down and try and manage with what little they have left. But right now on the left-hand side of the map, Diesel very out of position, might not be able to run away from this Jingwei that's just barreling down the left-hand side, and Shia's there to finish him off, but Sleep Tight gets the last hit. Right now, 5-0-1. He's got his short sword, he's pretty set.
Yeah, this game it's getting way too far out of hand. As we can see, Sleep Tight, he's already 3 levels ahead of us, actually 4 levels ahead now, just hit that level 14. We have 2 levels ahead on that solo lane side, and 1 level ahead on that mid lane. They're really starting to take advantage of this lead. As we can see, Blink coming out of Fates, trying to get away, but he's running to the wrong side of the map. Jarkor and Shia close behind him. There's really nothing he can do to get away from this, and he's going to go down.
So is Spectre on the opposite side of the map. Sleep Tight just able to jump on top, get that left-hand tier 1 tower as well. I mean, what can a little bear do when you've got a little girl with some wings chasing after you, am I right?
Yeah, exactly. We see the Pyromancer go down. Halfnet's communication has just been really top tier at this point. They always know where the enemies are. They're always, as you can see, actually Halfnet has almost all the wards on the map. They know exactly what's going on. They're keeping good communication, and they're securing those objectives as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, they just got Pyromancer. It's not even 13 minutes in. I mean, it's just at 13 minutes now. But what I mean by that is, at this point in the game, you typically wouldn't see people doing or going for these kind of objectives at this point in the game. But with this sort of a lead, I mean, they've got 10k at 13 minutes. That's kind of unheard of in this meta, I suppose.
Yeah, it makes you really start to wonder, what can Xenohawk Fan Club do to take this game back? As we can see, Byron going up on Diesel. Again, Diesel playing a little too aggressive, but Byron getting bursted down quite a bit as well. Not enough, though, with the ultimate coming out from Byron to finish off Diesel.
Yeah, I mean, with positioning like that, you're not going to be able to come back by any means. But right now, X-Jarkor just going for his speed buff one more time. iFate's trying to look for an invade there, but you're 3 levels behind, bud. I don't know what you're going to do here. Especially when you're so far behind. The curse was popped. I'm sorry, the horrific emblem was popped. And iFate's just trying to dash away, blinking away even, to try and find a safe place to go. And it seems like Bayron didn't even see him. He's just zooming on ahead to those back camps. But iFate's just sitting between a rock and a hard place. You know, do I back? Do I take this wave? You know, what is there left for me to do? But Xenohawk in an even tougher situation on the right-hand side.
Yeah, we see that Xingtian come up, throwing Xenohawk. Xenohawk ult come out, trying to stun out, actually stunned out both players. A little bit of a misplay by Shia trying to dash into that. We're going to see the sprint come out from both Xingtian and Nemesis trying to rotate over that left side fight. Spectre pretty low down. Ult coming out from Sleep Tight, able to finish off Spectre. And then Diesel coming in, going down to that Kakulin and the Loki.
Kaden had a nice effort there trying to take down Sleep Type, but the Aegis was perfectly timed and he was able to stay alive there, and that's going to be huge. Just keeping that ADC on his toes. You know, one little step further and that could have been it. That could have been the point where they could have found a little bit of a leeway to come back into this. Right now, Bayron trying to find iFates, doing as much as he can to throw damage on, but a nice Aegis there is able to keep away, and almost enough, but not enough. Almost. You almost had the kill, but thankfully enough, Sleep Tight made the rotation, was able to keep his mid laner alive.
Yeah, we see now the 13k goal lead coming up for Halfnet. It's allowing them to get those builds up. We see almost every god on Halfnet is at least one item ahead of their opponent laner and a decent level lead. Almost all of them are at least 2 to 3 levels up on their opponent laner. It's making this game start to look really bad for Xenohawk Fan Club. They really need to start taking a step back and doing whatever they can to slow this advance from Halfnet.
You know the game is bad when the Nemesis is ulting you at your own speed buff. And that's what's going on right now. Shia trying to find that last hit. Oh, but the ultimate over the wall is going to keep Kaden alive. And he did secure his own speed buff, so he'll be fine there. But Bayron and Sleep Type trying to do the Fire Giant together. That's how you know you got synergy. You sit there and you're like, alright guys, you do whatever you want. We're just going to do the Fire Giant. Don't worry about us. Just make sure they're not coming over here. And they certainly are not. And Fire Giant, 16 minutes in the game, has gone down.
Yeah, this is really starting to look pretty bad for Xenohawk Warriors. The bleeding just continues to grow. Really, Halfnet is just able to run rampant almost over the whole jungle. I mean, we saw that in the speed camp. Loki being forced to use his ultimate, and then both of really the ADCs able to solo out the Fire Giant by themselves at only 15 minutes in.
Right now we did see Diesel and Spectre trying to get some farm on that left-hand side, maybe take down that tower, but Diesel just getting stuck on the wrong side of that tower, unfortunately fell down to the gigantic Xingqian, and right now Xia, not really caring, he's just going on down, chasing the bear, you know, do whatever he wants, and meanwhile, Halfnet take the Gold Fury as well.
And that's the thing, when you let a team like this get ahead, Halfnet has really good communication, so they're able to do exactly what they did with the Gold Fury and with the Fire Giant. They throw 1 or 2 people out to push the entire Xenohawk fan club team back. Well, 1 or 2 people, or maybe 3 people do that Gold Fury, do that Fire Giant, able to secure those objectives without even being contested.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. You know, the communication from this team here of Halfnet Esports has been on point. They've been diving the back lane, taking the towers, you know, doing whatever they need. I mean, Loki's trying to go in to take down Sleep Tight, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, Sleep Tight's ready for it. He's level 19. What's the level 13 Loki going to do? Even that ultimate is not doing a whole lot, and excuse me, Xenohawk fan club's Titan is under attack right now. Only 2 Phoenixes are remaining, and when you've got 2 ADCs, like the enemy team does, those are not going to last for very much longer.
Yeah, they're going to take... Oh, we see the blink in from Hades. Shia pretty low, but the double kill coming out, the Cheetah's ultimate coming out, pretty much eliminating this team fight altogether. Only Diesel left alive to try to defend this Titan against a whole squad of 5 with Fire Giant. Not going to last. Fire Giant's going down to about half HP now. Nobody up to defend it. Down to about a quarter HP now. Still nobody up. And Halfnet Esports takes this game very cleanly.
Clean is the only word that I can think of right now. Congratulations to Halfnet Esports, and they are your champions for this week's 5 vs 5 Battle for Asgard on Smite Prime. And just wow. That's all I've got to say for that one. Wow.
Yeah, 18 minutes in with, I believe I'm reading 21k gold up. 18 minutes and 33 kills, so I believe maybe it was 2 or 3. Not many at all. Let me look really. Hold on.
I mean, it was 2 kills for Xenohawk fan club. Like, that's insane. Almost 2 kills a minute on the enemy team. When it comes down to it, I mean, I'm gonna call the draft on that one. I don't think that the draft was really able to do a whole lot when it comes to what Xenohawk fan club, I guess, wanted to. I don't know necessarily what the strat was there. There's no real connection between these gods and these characters, and they aren't super strong in the meta either. Yeah.
Halfnet Esports, not only was it because of the draft on Xenohawk fan club, that Loki being a really poor pick, and the Scotty 0-9 just getting shut out by Sleep Tight, but it was also how well Halfnet played. Not only did they completely control the map with that support Shia on that Nemesis, but with both Sleep Tight and Cheetah getting multiple solo kills. Not only did they control that map, they also controlled the pretty much the entire game. They got into the heads of Xenohawk fan club, continue to get solo kills, and just farmed them. They really just farmed them. It wasn't even fair, really.
Gotta say, that was an incredible game, and an incredible tournament. And once more, congratulations to Halfnet for being this week's champions. And that's gonna be it from us for now. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys the next